Have you ever wondered why we call God He? I mean, think about it. We're talking about an all-powerful, infinite being that created the entire universe. So why do we automatically reach for masculine pronouns? Today, we're diving into one of religion's most fascinating questions. Does God have a gender? The answer might surprise you. Let's travel back in time for a moment. In ancient civilizations, gods and goddesses filled the pantheons of nearly every culture. The Egyptians had Isis, the Greeks had Zeus, and the Norse had Odin. But something interesting happened when monotheistic religions emerged. The concept of a single deity brought with it new questions about divine nature, including gender. What's fascinating is how these early civilizations balance masculine and feminine divine powers. In Mesopotamia, Inanna was as powerful as Enki. In Egypt, Isis held powers that even Ra respected. These cultures understood divinity as a force that transcended simple gender categories, even while giving their deities gendered characteristics. This balance started shifting as societies became more patriarchal. But the echoes of these dual-gendered divine concepts never fully disappeared. Here's where things get really interesting. In ancient Hebrew, the original language of the Old Testament, God is referred to by both masculine and feminine terms. The word El is masculine, but Ruach, the divine spirit, is feminine. And in the book of Genesis, it says humanity was created in God's image. Male and female created He them. This suggests something far more complex than simple gender categories. The plot thickens when we look at the ancient Hebrew word Elohim, one of the primary names for God. It's technically a masculine plural noun, but it's used with singular verbs when referring to God. Some scholars suggest this grammatical curiosity hints at a divine nature that encompasses and transcends all gender. But wait, it gets even more fascinating. In Islamic tradition, Allah has no gender at all. The Arabic language may use masculine grammar when referring to Allah, but Islamic scholars are clear. This is a limitation of human language, not a description of divine nature. It's like trying to describe a four-dimensional object with three-dimensional words. Something gets lost in translation. The Quran itself presents Allah through both traditionally masculine and feminine attributes. Divine mercy, Rahmah, comes from the same root as the word for womb, Ram, connecting divine compassion with traditionally feminine imagery. Yet, Allah is also described as Al-Jabbar, the compelling, and Al-Qahhar, the subduer, traditionally masculine attributes. Christianity presents its own unique perspective. While God is traditionally referred to as Father, religious scholars point out numerous passages where God is described using maternal imagery. In Isaiah, God is compared to a nursing mother. In Deuteronomy, to a mother eagle. Even Jesus used feminine imagery when He compared Himself to a mother hen gathering her chicks. The early Christian church had intense debates about divine gender. The Gnostic texts discovered at Nag Hammadi reveal some early Christians conceived of the Holy Spirit as feminine. Some even referred to the Holy Spirit as Divine Mother. Let's shift gears and look at Eastern traditions. In Hinduism, the divine is often seen as beyond gender, while simultaneously embracing both masculine and feminine aspects. The concept of Ardhanarishvara, literally the Lord who is half woman, depicts Shiva as half male and half female, suggesting that the ultimate divine reality transcends and includes all gender. In Chinese philosophy, the interplay of yin and yang represents the dynamic balance of feminine and masculine energies that make up all of reality. Neither is superior. Both are essential parts of the whole. This concept suggests that any complete understanding of the divine must include both masculine and feminine aspects. But here's where we need to think bigger. When we ask if God has a gender, we're really asking if human categories can adequately describe the divine. It's like asking what color is gravity or what shape is love. We're trying to fit an infinite concept into finite boxes. Modern psychology offers another fascinating perspective. Carl Jung proposed that our images of God often reflect our own psyche's need to integrate masculine and feminine aspects of consciousness. The way we gender God might say more about us than about the divine. This brings us to modern interpretations. Progressive religious movements have begun using gender-neutral language for God, arguing that traditional masculine imagery reflects historical patriarchy more than divine truth. Others maintain that while God transcends gender, masculine pronouns serve as useful metaphors for understanding divine attributes. The debate has real-world implications. Studies show that people's concept of God's gender correlates with their views on gender roles in society. Those who imagine a masculine God tend to hold more traditional views about gender, while those who conceive of God as beyond gender often support more egalitarian social structures. Let's consider the philosophical implications. If God created gender itself, wouldn't God necessarily exist beyond it? Think about an author writing a novel. They create male and female characters, but the author themselves isn't bound by the categories they create. Similarly, a divine creator would logically transcend the very concepts they brought into being. This question has profound cultural implications. How we imagine God shapes how we understand authority, power, and even our own identities. When we automatically assign masculine traits to the divine, what messages do we internalize about gender and power? What might change in our societies if we expanded our divine imagery? Contemporary theologians have proposed interesting solutions. Some suggest using alternating pronouns for God, while others advocate dropping pronouns altogether. Some communities rotate through different divine imagery, creator, source, spirit, to capture different aspects of the divine while avoiding gender-specific language. But perhaps most fascinating is how this debate reflects broader conversations about gender in our society. As we develop more nuanced understandings of gender identity and expression, our language about the divine is evolving too. Some argue that God's transcendence of gender makes divine imagery particularly relevant to non-binary and gender non-conforming perspectives. So, does God have a gender? Perhaps we've been asking the wrong question all along. Instead of trying to fit the divine into human categories, maybe we should be expanding our categories to embrace the divine. The real answer might not be he or she or even they, but something beyond our current capacity to express. What matters isn't finding a definitive answer, but understanding that our language and concepts about the divine are always incomplete. Like trying to capture an infinite ocean in a finite cup, our human terms will always fall short. And maybe that's exactly as it should be. This is where ancient wisdom and modern thought converge. The mystery of the divine isn't something to solve, but something to contemplate. And in that contemplation, we might find something far more valuable than answers. We find the humility to acknowledge that some truths are bigger than our ability to fully grasp them. What do you think? How do you imagine the divine? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations of life's biggest questions.